Hi, this is Dr. Shintani. Are you confused about carbs or carbohydrates? If you are, you're not alone. A lot of people, even health professionals, are also confused about carbs. Watch this series of videos and I'll clear up some misconceptions about carbohydrates. Let's start with the most basic of carbohydrates, sugar. When is sugar good for you? Let's start with describing what sugar is. Sugar is the most basic carbohydrate, and it provides energy for bodily functions. So many people say sugar is bad for you, but the reality is that we need sugar to live. In fact, the brain has to have glucose, a simple sugar, to function and survive. This is why people get lightheaded and can pass out when their blood sugar is too low, because the brain can't function without sugar. Now, I don't mean you have to eat processed sugar for the brain to get glucose. All carbohydrates, whether simple carbs, complex carbs, processed or unprocessed carbs, can provide blood sugar for the brain and other bodily functions. Let's draw a distinction between common table sugar or high fructose corn syrup that you consume and the sugar that's in your bloodstream or blood sugar. There are two main kinds of sugar that we consume: monosaccharides, a one-molecule sugar, and disaccharides, two-molecule sugars. Table sugar, for example, or sucrose, happens to be a two-molecule sugar. Sugar is also the basic building block of complex carbohydrates or starch. The difference between a simple sugar and a complex carbohydrate or starch is that starch is made up of hundreds of molecules of sugar linked together, and simple sugar is made up of just one or two molecules of sugar. What's important to understand is that all carbs, simple carbs or sugars, complex carbs, starches, are all broken down into individual sugar molecules in the gut before it's absorbed. So all carbs are absorbed as sugar and becomes your blood sugar. So when is sugar good for you? Sugar is good when it's in the bloodstream providing fuel for the brain and other bodily functions. If you're starving or hypoglycemic, even table sugar or a soft drink will be good for you if your blood sugar is too low. But in most cases, consuming processed sugar is going to be bad for you, especially if you're overweight or already have high blood sugar, because it will cause spikes in your blood sugar, which can contribute to obesity, metabolic syndrome, inflammation, diabetes, and other health problems. However, if you consume sugar in the form of a whole food, such as an apple, this is almost always good for you because the sugar is absorbed slowly and in a moderate amount. So the key to when sugar is good for you or bad for you depends on how much sugar is already in your bloodstream, the rate of absorption of sugar, and the quantity of sugar that you consume, and your body's general health. In other words, whether sugar is good or bad for you depends on a lot of factors. It depends on getting the right amount of sugar or carbohydrate, having a moderate rate of absorption, and under the right circumstances. Of course, this doesn't happen in isolation. There are other dietary factors that greatly affect the rate and quantity of absorption of sugar, such as what other food you're eating with the sugar, what form the sugar is in, whether it's whole or processed, how much fiber you consume, and your body's nutritional status. It also depends on whether your body's insulin is working so that you can handle the sugar that you absorb. To find out more about how to control your blood sugar, even with more carbs, and why populations that eat lots of carbs have low rates of diabetes and obesity, subscribe to this channel for more videos on tips for vibrant longevity. This is Dr. Shintani for your health.